This is the Cancer Interviews podcast, and I'm your host, Bruce Morton. Our guest on this episode survived testicular cancer, and a key ingredient in his getting to survivorship was early detection. He is Joe Brennan of Carmel, New York. His cancer journey was made easier by his being proactive, and post-treatment, he is proactive about helping others. Now it's time to hear his story. And Joe, welcome to Cancer Interviews.
Bruce, thank you so much for having me. I love watching all your interviews and YouTube videos. It really does save lives. So I can't be more thankful to be on your podcast.
And we hope to do a little bit of that on this interview. So thanks very much, Joe. We're going to start out the way we always do, and that's to talk about something other than cancer and to learn about your life exclusive of cancer. So if you would, tell us a bit about where you're from, what you've done for work, and what you like to do for fun.
Okay. Well, I grew up, I live in Carmel, New York. I grew up in Camillus, New York, which is a small town right outside of Syracuse. That's where I grew up. But I've lived down in Carmel for 5 years now. What I do for work is I'm a financial coach. I help families make money, save money, plan for retirement. I also educate them on the right kinds of life insurance to get. In my free time, I love spending time with my beautiful family. I have my wife Annie and my two kids, and we have a third one on the way. So I love doing things with the family, going to the beach. I'm big on sports. I am a huge Yankees fan. Because I'm from Syracuse, I'm a huge Syracuse University, sports fan. I love watching, the basketball team, the football team. I love doing hikes. I just love playing sports. I love going to the beach. I love going on vacations. Me and my wife are big foodies, so I love going to a good restaurant and having a nice date night. So, I also love, because I'm in New York, I love going down into the city and going to Broadway shows.
With respect to your coaching business, we're going to get to that a little bit later, but we want to talk about your cancer journey and when it began. For all of us who are cancer survivors, there was that time in which we thought our health was normal, everything was fine, and then something materialized that was not normal. When did you initially noticed something wrong, and how did that manifest itself?
Okay, well, so to make a long story short here, my wife and I, we're expecting a baby. This is 2024, and she told me back in, I think it was April or May, that she was pregnant with our third child, and we couldn't be more excited about it. We had a great summer. We just got back from the beach. We went to Wildwood, New Jersey with the kids, and we had a great time. So this is a couple weeks after that. So this was I'd say the first week of August. That's maybe like the August 10th or something like that, is when I noticed I was in the bathroom one day, and I didn't notice a lump. Down there. But I did notice that one of my right testicle was much harder than my left. My left one felt normal. It felt soft and, squishy like a normal testicle would feel. And then my right one felt hard like a baseball almost. But, growing up, I always had health anxiety. I was always that person that looked in the mirror and said, did I always have that mark there? Was that always there? Does that feel right? I was always that person that did that. So I was thinking that I was just overthinking it, like I overthink lots of things. But I remember, it was in the middle of the day and I was working, and I texted my wife. She was at work, and I told her, I'm like, something doesn't feel right down there, and I don't know what it is, but it does concern me. And she said, well, Joe, we do have an ultrasound for the baby up on August 22nd. Why don't you schedule an appointment with a urologist, since we're going to be there anyways? You already took a day off from working to go with me. So why don't you just, while we're there, why don't you just get checked out just to ease your tension? So that's what I did. I probably would have just put it off, but because my wife said that, I said, why don't I go get checked out? And And that's why I decided to go get checked out for it.
And once you were checked out by the doctor, what did that examination consist of?
So the first thing he did was I told him what my concerns were. And, I really wasn't, to be honest, I really wasn't concerned at all. Because again, I really thought I was overthinking it. I really wasn't nervous. But when I went in there, before he checked anything, he said, listen, he goes, he took out his hand and he said, feel just like the soft part of your hand. Like that's how your testicle should feel. And then he goes, then feel your knuckle of your hand. Feel that. If you feel that, that's something that you should be concerned about. And when he did that, and he had me feel his hand and his knuckle, I did start to get concerned, because I was like, the way his knuckle feels, that's how it feels down there. So that's when I started feeling a little nervous. And then he had me drop my pants and he checked both testicles. And again, I still was expecting him to say, oh, you're fine. You're just, you're overthinking it. But he said, I do feel something in your right testicle. It feels like you might have a spermatocele, which is, he thought that I might have had a cyst on my epididymis, which he didn't seem too concerned about, because apparently, according to my urologist, that can be cancerous, but a lot of times it's just something that's benign and something they need to, keep an eye on. So he said, listen, I don't think it's anything too bad, but we need to get an ultrasound done, because I definitely felt something. So that appointment was I believe on a Thursday, and he got me in on a Sunday morning to go get my ultrasound done. And then he called me first thing Monday morning and let me know that, in fact, wasn't on my epididymis. It was on my testicle itself. And he was very concerned about it and said, we need to start scheduling up some appointments and take care of this. And
those appointments led to a diagnosis?
Yeah, so he was one thing that's great about my urologist, that he was very upfront with me on this. He was very, even without taking anything out, he was already calling it, this is your cancer, because he was very, based on the ultrasound, he said, it's very likely that this is cancer, but we have to schedule an appointment to get blood work done, to check your tumor markers. We're going to get a CAT scan done, and then we need to schedule a surgery to get your right testicle and spermatic cord removed as soon as possible. And one of the first questions he asked me on the phone, and again, this was Monday, I saw him on Thursday, was, has it grown? And I just sort of laughed at him. He goes, no, I'm serious, because, these things grow pretty fast. So, so he was just wondering if that happened. It didn't. So so within that week, I had to get blood work. I got a CAT scan done by Friday. And then they scheduled my surgery for September 9th to get a right orchiectomy, which is the removal of a testicle and the spermatic cord.
By the way, we're confident you'll be able to learn some tips and tools from Joe Brennan and from Cancer Interviews to help you through your cancer journey. But first, we'd like you to please give us a like, leave a comment or review below, and share this story with your friends. Kindly click on the subscribe button below and click on the bell icon. That way, you'll be notified the next time we post a cancer interview. And if you or a loved one are facing a cancer journey, please click on the link in the description and show notes below to check out our free guide, The Top 10 Things I Wish I Knew When I First Got Cancer. Finally, we want to remind you that in Cancer Interviews, we do not distribute medical advice. If you seek medical advice, please contact a licensed healthcare professional. So, Joe, you've gotten this very disconcerting news about this operation that's going to come up, how it looks like it's going to be a cancer diagnosis. As one who was diagnosed with cancer myself, I know there's no such thing as a good day when you are diagnosed with cancer. We already know it's a bad day, but in terms of all the variables in your personal equation, how did you react to this?
My first initial reaction was I was just in shock. I handled it so much better than I really thought I would. Because again, I always had health anxiety. I always was worried about something like this happening. But when it did happen, when I did get this news, it's weird when it actually happens to you. It's like, okay, I just have to deal with it now, and and I was doing a lot of research on testicular cancer, and I know how curable it is if you catch it early. And I just really kept having a positive attitude about it, and hoping that I caught it in the early stages. Based on the blood work and the CAT scan, it looked like I did, but I really wouldn't know for sure till after the surgery, and they were able to take a look at it. So it was tough because it was just really the unknown. Not knowing what was going to happen was really the hardest part. And because it's a private part, it's hard to talk to people about it. But I really, my wife was very adamant on, you really need to reach out to some of your friends and talk to them about it. And that's what I did. And that was kind of hard to do because, again, you're talking about a very sensitive area, and you're talking with other men. And, men like a lot of times like to hold things in, but I just thought it was important to talk to some of my closest male friends about these things. That also helped me with going on my appointments, because I went on to so many appointments in those first couple of weeks. And, I was doing a lot of the appointments by myself because I didn't want my wife to take off any time from work. I want her to save her days when the baby comes. So when you're on the road going on these appointments, it gets lonely, and I didn't want to feel like I was going through this alone. So I did reach out to a lot of friends and talk to them about it. And that really did help. Another thing that helped me out a lot was I gave myself only an hour every day to be sad about it, to be, this sucks. I gave myself an hour every day to be sad. And I'm not ashamed to admit that, that I would cry. I gave some time to cry and be sad. But after that hour is done, I said, all right, that was my hour to be sad. Now it's time to be positive and be happy and be there for my family. And that's kind of how I got through it the first couple of weeks.
Joe, what I've learned from interviewing so many people who have gone through a cancer journey, one thing you learn is that no 2 days are alike. Against that backdrop, was it difficult to limit that sadness to 60 minutes every day?
Yeah, it was tough some days, but you know what? What really helped me was, because I've dealt with anxiety and depression throughout my life for different things. I've always had anxiety. And I was fortunately for me, I was already working on myself when I got my diagnosis. I see a therapist every single week just to talk out, different things that's going on in my life. And I've already been working on myself and putting myself in a more positive space. And I'm reading a lot of books on positive affirmations, and I listen to affirmations every morning to put myself in a more positive mood. And I've been doing that. I was doing that for over a year before my diagnosis. And I think that's really helped me out a lot, honestly, to really focus on the positives. And I'm very thankful for that, because there were times in my life where I wasn't necessarily in a good space mentally. And had this happened then, I'm not sure how I would have handled it then.
Well, around the corner for you was surgery and your treatment regimen. If you would, describe what that was like, because I have no doubt that we have men watching and listening now who are either they've just been freshly diagnosed, or they know that they're a candidate for a diagnosis, and so they're going to want to know this. If you would describe your surgery, describe what happened afterward.
So the surgery, it went pretty well. I went in early. I think it was a Monday morning. I believe it was, yeah, it was a Monday. Went in early on a Monday morning. Um, and I met with the urologist ahead of time, and he just went over, went over the procedure and everything. And basically what they did is they cut through my groin on my right side, and they were able to they took out my right testicle and the spermatic cord. And the surgery, it was pretty simple. I mean, I was sleeping through the whole thing. It didn't take very long. I think it only took maybe like an hour or two. And I was home by early afternoon. My wife was there with me the whole time, and recovery, to be honest, was tougher than I anticipated. I figured I'd be out of, I would take a couple of days off from work, and then I'd be back. I'd be back seeing clients, by Thursday, and I really couldn't do it. I took about 2 weeks off. It was really tough for me to sleep for the first couple weeks. I really couldn't get comfortable. I was really sore down there. I had ice on me about every half hour. I had to have a half hour with ice on, half hour off. It was tough for me to walk for the first 2 weeks, and I couldn't do any sort of heavy lifting at all for 6 weeks. So I was really taking it easy. I couldn't pick up my kids. I couldn't. I really didn't walk around too much. I was pretty much in bed for the first couple of weeks. But other than that, it wasn't too bad. I was very fortunate to have a very great support system. My parents, I have the two greatest parents a son could ever ask for. They were able to come down from Syracuse, and they came down to Carmel, and they helped me out with the kids, and they helped me out, around the house, and I couldn't be more thankful for that.
Were you on any sort of medication? You mentioned the ice, but was there any medication that you had to take?
I definitely took some pain medicine. I took Vicodin that helped with the pain. I was nervous about taking that because you hear stories about getting addicted to those sort of things, but that didn't, I was weighing the pros and the cons, and the pros of taking it outweighed the cons. And I don't really have an addictive personality, so I took it and I was totally fine. But I definitely needed it for the first week. I definitely needed it because I was very sore down there, very sore. But then after that, I was just taking ibuprofen, Tylenol. I was just taking that as needed for a couple of weeks.
And along the way, though, things I'm sure had to get better, and you found yourself on the road to recovery. What was your reaction when you could tell that things were getting better, that you could tell you were getting to your destination of reaching survivorship and recovery?
Really, after the first maybe 10 days, I was still obviously sore and not feeling 100%. But I had an appointment. I had a follow up with my urologist, and he went over the results from the surgery and what came back, and he said that I was diagnosed with Seminoma, T1A. Which is, it's stage 1, and Seminoma, it's a very slow acting cancer. I know I still had to meet with the oncologist, to confirm everything, but my urologist, from his experience, said, this is pretty much the best case scenario you could ask for. Because again, he goes, I mean, to me, the best case scenario would have been, oh, it's just benign. But my urologist was very honest with me from the beginning and said, listen, I've been doing this a long time. The chances of it not being cancer is pretty much slim to none, just based on what I'm seeing in the ultrasound. it definitely looks like it's cancer. So I was very thankful to find out that it was stage 1. We caught it in its earliest stage. And it's the seminoma, which is, I guess if you're going to get cancer, that's the one to get, with what I had going on. So I was very thankful for that. And, from then on, I was just feeling really good that I was going to keep on getting good news. And that really was the case. I met with the oncologist maybe a week after that. And my oncologist pretty much relayed the same message my urologist said that, listen, you're going to be in surveillance now. We're going to check you every 3 months for the next year. And then after, for the next 5 years, it's going to be about twice a year. You're going to get checked, getting CAT scans done. But I should be good. I should be staying cancer free. So I'm excited about that.
Joe, another question I think guys would want to hear the answer to is, now that you have gone through this, if you could quantify your health as being 100% pre-diagnosis, I don't know if it was in fact, but let's just say for conversation's sake that your health was 100% pre-diagnosis, how would you quantify it now? And what can you do and can you not do that you could do pre-diagnosis?
I can do everything that I could do before my pre-diagnosis. Again, it did take me a while to get back to 100%. I have a 4-year-old daughter, and she likes daddy to pick her up. She likes me to put her on her shoulders, and I have a lot of fun with my kids, and that was really tough for me for about like 2 months. Like I really took it really easy. Didn't want to do any heavy lifting around the house, but I'm 100% back to normal now. My wife and I, we have a baby on the way. I'm doing a lot of work around the house to make sure we got that ready. I'm putting cribs up, carrying heavy things. So I'm back to doing the things that I was doing before my diagnosis. Now, when it comes to health, I really feel like I really abandoned my health the last couple of years, really since COVID. And I've come to the realization that I really want to start doing things to better my health and get myself in better shape. Because, you never know what's going to happen later on in life. And after my diagnosis, I really have a really appreciation for what I have, and I want to be healthier for my family and my kids. So
now, in terms of support, you had mentioned your wife, you'd mentioned your parents, but in an external sort of way, you were able to get support from the Testicular Cancer Society. If you would tell viewers and listeners a bit about what the society is about and what it can do for them.
Yeah, so what really made me, reach out to them, and I just started working with Mike Craycraft there, and he's a great guy. He's the founder of Testicular Cancer Society. What really made me decide to get involved with them was, as I mentioned before, when I was going through the diagnosis and going through the checkups and the surgery and everything, it was a scary time. And I really wanted to talk to someone about it. And, you really feel alone because, even when you're talking to people, they're not going through the same thing you're going through. But I did notice when I did reach out to some of my closest guy friends about it, obviously they were very concerned about me and they were praying for me and hoping for the best. But they also were concerned about themselves too. They had a lot of questions on, Joe, just curious, like, what were your symptoms? What should I be looking out for when I do checks, when I check myself down there? I got a lot of questions for that. I still get questions for that. I'll be at a a family get together or some sort of get together, and even people I'm not really close to, they'll come up to me, men, and say, "Hey, listen, I heard about your diagnosis. I'm sorry about that. I'm glad you're doing better, but just curious, what were your symptoms?" And so I was really looking for a community that can, people that I can talk to who are going through the same things that I'm going through, and I was on the internet, and I found the Testicular Cancer Society, and I was looking at their website and what they're all about, and I said, I really feel like not only can they help me out, but I can really, I'd love to get involved to help people myself, because that's really just who I am as a person. I really love helping people. And with the Testicular Cancer Society, they raise awareness for testicular cancer, and they offer support for people that are going through, what I'm going through. And I couldn't be more thankful for them. They're a great organization. I just got started with them, but I'm really excited to be working with them and to be a supportive partner, in the best way I can. And I love, and with them, I can, I'd love to be a voice and be able to help people that are going through cancer, or help family members that have people that are going through cancer. I'd love to be a part of their journey and their support to help them get through this, because, they're not alone. We're all in this together.
And the web address, if you want to go to that website for the Testicular Cancer Society, it's just one big word, testicularcancersociety.org. Now, Joe, we want to wrap up, but before we do, I would like you to briefly talk about the work you do as a financial coach and how that can relate to people in terms of their cancer journey, or, I hate to say it, a potential cancer journey.
Yeah, so it's just it's crazy how this ended up happening to me with being diagnosed with cancer. I'm a financial coach. I'm a licensed financial coach, and I help families make money, save money, plan for retirement, and I also help them, educate them on getting the right kind of life insurance. And I've been doing this for over 6 years, and it's crazy how this happened, because, for years I would talk to my clients or people close to me about the importance of getting life insurance, because life insurance protects your income. In case, God forbid, something were to happen to you, it protects your income, and it protects your family. I educate people all the time about, make sure you get life insurance now when you're young and you're healthy, because you don't know what's going to happen later on, and, you can develop cancer or some other sort of serious disease. And I've had people that I warned to make sure that they got life insurance, but they held it off, and unfortunately now they're uninsurable. They developed some sort of disease or cancer that prevents them from getting insurance. And I tell people stories about people that I've known that's happened to, but now it's happened to me. I'm so thankful that I was able to get life insurance when I was young and healthy, because now if I were to apply to get it, I wouldn't be able to get it. So it's so important. If you don't have life insurance, definitely definitely have life insurance. If people counting on you financially, it's important to have life insurance. And if you have a family member that's that unfortunately is going through testicular cancer or other forms of cancer, whether it's your spouse, or, your significant other, it's definitely important to get life insurance for yourself, because, they might not be able to get insured, but you still can. And it's important to take care of that. So, my whole life, I've always been someone that wants to help people in some way. I've always been that friend that is there for my other friends that are going through something, and I can talk to them about it. When it comes to work, I'm there to help people when it comes to any sort of financial issue they're having. And people come to me, they have all kinds of different financial issues they're going through, whether it's, they're going through bankruptcy or they're in some serious debt. And now I'm able to help people when it comes to going through cancer. And I just feel like, you know, as tough as this was going through cancer, I really think that this was God's calling for me, that this was my job to be here to help people and educate them, to raise awareness for this. Because the thing that I enjoy most about life is helping people. So if I could help one person, that would really mean the world to me.
Joe Brennan, Carmel, New York. He's been our guest, and he's talked about how he likes to help people, and we're seeing that he's able to do that, through the Testicular Cancer Society and through his business as a financial coach. Joe, I want to thank you very much for a story that is uplifting and inspirational. You underscored the importance of early detection, which it turns out was a product of a group effort between you and your wife. So anyway, Joe, thanks for being with us on Cancer Interviews.
Thank you so much, Bruce. And one last thing, if you want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram handle is @JSBrennan. I post daily content. A lot of it is, about financial education. A lot of it is just on life tips. And I'm also posting a lot of things about my cancer journey and cancer support. And I'm posting things for the Testicular Cancer Society as well. You can also follow me on my Facebook. It's facebook.com/official.jsbrennan. So you can follow me there as well. And then, definitely check out Testicular Cancer Society's website, testicularcancersociety.org. They have a great app, the Ball Checker app. So if you're a man and it's important to check your balls once a month to make sure everything is good down there. One of the things that my urologist taught me, and I do it, is it's whatever the day of your birthday. My birthday is on the 26th, so the 26th of every month, I make sure I check myself down there, make sure that that everything's healthy. And on their website, they give you instructions on how to properly check your testicles to make sure that everything's safe. So it's so important for men for early detection. Make sure you check your balls once a month.
Great, Joe. And we will be sure to put all the links you mentioned on our show notes, which people can check out when they go to cancerinterviews.com. So that's going to wrap up this episode of the Cancer Interviews podcast. And we want to remind you, as we always do, if you are on a cancer journey, you or a loved one, you are not alone. There are people out there like Joe Brennan, organizations like the Testicular Cancer Society that can ease that cancer journey. So until next time, we'll see you on down the road.